It is less than a week until Christmas, and I don't know what to do with myself. I was debating making this vlog before Christmas because I wasn't really sure what to include, and I had some time-sensitive things I was dealing with, and I thought trying to vlog it might be more of a distraction and make it take longer for me to do those things. And then I just thought maybe it would be too much extra pressure to work on something right before Christmas, but I don't know, I just decided to sit down today and record something because I just feel like talking. We can talk writing first. Let's talk writing. Last video I announced Project Hyacinth, and I will tell you what my error was. I started that project right before the holiday season, and I'm someone that during the Christmas season, I just want to do a bunch of Christmas things. I want to watch the cheesy movies. I want to listen to Christmas music. I love decorating. I want to read more Christmas books. I have 2 Christmas books, and I thought I would only have enough time to read one this year, and then I would have another one for next year. But I ended up reading the first one faster than I thought I would, so I read the second one, which I also read faster than I thought I would. So then I ran out of Christmas books, and I still had a couple of weeks before Christmas, so I haven't been reading anything now because I didn't want to ruin the Christmas vibes. So if anyone has any holiday, Christmas, winter book recommendations, do share. Anyway, as far as writing, Hyacinth kind of paused because it's not the festive vibe I'm going for this time of year. But I will say where I last left off with it. Specifically, I have 3 named characters so far, and I'm trying to figure out all of their backstories. The female protagonist, the other 2 characters are male characters, and one of them is a protagonist, and I don't know if the other one is a main character or if he's just gonna be a side character. I feel like with some of the loose ideas I have for him, he could be pretty significant, and I don't know if that's gonna make him protagonist material. A side character can be significant without being the protagonist, you know what I mean? So I'm not really sure. He has a lot of interesting potential, but let's just say for now I have 3 main characters. 2 of them, the female lead and then the possible side character lead. Those 2 specifically are going to be crucial in how I figure out how the story begins. Both of their backstories, as well as kind of their respective occupations. The third question was I wanted them to have this sort of found family dynamic between them, but I wasn't sure if they already have that connection when the story starts or if they've never met and that kind of develops through the story. What's been happening with Hyacinth is I will get ideas and then I intentionally challenge myself to come up with the opposite idea. For example, like the female lead. I thought, what if she starts out as a criminal? And then to kind of challenge that, I thought, well, what if she's actually an upstanding citizen? Just to kind of avoid getting too attached to the first idea I come up with in case there's a better option. There are certain things where I feel like I'm leaning toward them, and I think there's a matter of going with your gut, but sometimes I don't know if I'm going with my gut because it's the best idea or if it's because I still got too attached to the first idea I came up with. That's something I kind of go back and forth with. But I was thinking of an idea for her backstory that did help me decide where she's gonna start out. I did decide I do want those 2 characters to already have their connection at the beginning of the story because 1, I just thought it would be fun to write it from the beginning, and 2, I thought it could offer a little more interesting contrast. So we would have these 2 characters who already know each other and have this relationship, and then we would see that type of dynamic. And then when we meet the third main character, then that's a different relationship dynamic because these characters have never met him before, so we kind of see that rather than all 3 of them having never met. Where I want to pick up next when I come back to it is figuring out the backstories of both of the male characters. I have some ideas for the one who's friends with the female main character, but I need to pin down his details. Her and him are the 2 characters that are going to decide how this story opens. I know what my inciting incident is, or at least I have an idea for it right now, and those 2 characters are going to decide how I get there and the details of that situation. But I also have to figure out more about the third main character. So those are all things I need to figure out when I come back to Hyacinth. However, as I was saying, around Christmas time, I just want to do Christmassy things. A couple of years ago, I challenged myself to write a Christmas story in time for Christmas. I think I started late November. And I know I said in my last video I've never finished anything. technically I did finish a first draft for that short story. It was a challenge and it was really fun to do. And then I thought it would be really fun one day to publish maybe a collection of Christmas short stories, just because I like reading Christmas stories. Super low on the priority list, but definitely like a fun someday if I have time kind of project. But in that vein, instead of working on Hyacinth, my writing sessions have just been free writing silly little Christmas story ideas. And when I say free writing, I mean free writing. I have no idea where these stories are going, if anywhere. It's just pure vibes. There's no pressure. I'm not making it that I have to finish this. It doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to be complete. It's basically I'm just doing the writing equivalent of doodling in a sketchbook. You know, it's like these don't have to be polished ideas. I don't have to finish them. They don't have to turn into anything. Nobody is ever even gonna have to see them. But I'm having fun and it's practice in its own way, and it's just kind of how I'm trying to enjoy what little is left of the season. I just need the whimsy and the lightheartedness. But come December 26th, we will be moving right back into Hyacinth. So that's kind of where I am right now. I didn't know how to make this a festive vlog. I was not thinking about vlogging at the start of this year's Christmas season, but if I'm still doing this next year, it might be fun to try to do more of a more festive holiday vlog, maybe like decorating or shopping. I don't know. I guess I don't know where I'm gonna be at this point next year, but I like watching other people's holiday vlogs. I love watching decorating vlogs and stuff like that. So it would be fun to try to do something like that, but that's next year. So I do know I have a new planner coming today that is exciting. So maybe we could do a little plan with me session, a little planner setup if I can figure out how to record some of that. While I wait for that, we could try to do a little more writing together, you and I. I have two different Christmas stories that I came up with. The first one is basically think Christmas market, but like night circus vibes. The other story, I've written over 1,000 words, but I don't really know what it's about yet. That's the one where it's kind of just pure vibes. I have no idea where it's going, if anywhere. It's kind of, honestly, it might even be a little boring the way that I've written it so far, but I'm having fun with it, and that's the whole point. I can always come back to it to fix it and make it good. Either next Christmas, I'll have a head start on it, or maybe if inspiration strikes me in the middle of June, I can still work on it then, you know, and come up with some kind of more complete, polished idea. This is probably gonna be a pretty short vlog. I don't think there's gonna be a lot for me to include at this point. You know, it is very close to Christmas, so I don't want to spend so much time every single day trying to make this vlog. It'll probably just be a couple days. I'm just making noises at this point. I forget what I was trying to talk about. So I will see you later. You know what free writing like this reminds me of is when you're talking to a little kid, or even when you were a little kid, and you have like your make-believe story that you're playing, you know, like role playing with, either by yourself or with your friends. You know, you're on the playground and one kid's like, oh, go over by the slide, and then when you come down the slide, you'll pretend that you're sliding down the rope ladder. We're on a ship, we're on a pirate ship. Okay, we're pirates. Okay, great. And then like you kind of play like you're pirates, and then later one of the kids like, what if we go to space? And then you're like, oh my god, what if we do go to space? Okay, now we're in space. How did you get into space? I don't know, don't worry about it, we're here now. And then they're like, oh my god, what if there's a giraffe? Where did the giraffe come from? Don't worry about it, but there's a giraffe now and we're just gonna go with it. No continuity, more holes than plot, but it's really fun and just relaxing because you're like, oh, what the hell, sure, we're in space now. Like, why not? Just keeps you loose. It keeps your your ideas go, and it's kind of like brain dumping, I guess, but like in a prose format. Highly recommend it. If you feel like you're putting too much pressure on what you're working on and you need a little breather, open a blank document and just write nonsense. Just pure nonsense. Nobody has to see it. You don't ever have to look at it again when you stop writing it. So far today, I have written 527 words, which is not so bad because probably the amount of time I've spent on it would be maybe like a half hour when I first got up this morning, and then just now is probably another half hour. So like 500 words an hour, not too bad, especially for something that I have no idea what I'm even writing. We're having fun. We're having fun. It's festive. I like the vibes. I just got my package in the mail. I have to do the world's fastest haul video because I have something else I'm supposed to take care of. First, this is my planner that I got. It is Day Designer by Bluesky. I will link it in the description. I'm not sponsored or anything or affiliated. I bought this with my own money because I like it. I had the same planner last year and it really worked for me. So I wanted to use it again. I specifically got it because it has like the day divided into like times, like half-hour intervals. As someone who has a lot of time blindness because of ADHD, and as someone who is home most of the time, I lose track of time very easily. There have been days where I will wake up and then I blink and then it's 4 p.m. and I literally won't even remember what I did the whole day because I just kind of dissociated. And so this has helped me become a little more mindful of what I'm doing, and I can keep track of what am I doing, how long am I doing it for, how often do I do it. In the back note pages, I always do a little bit of, I set up a few trackers. I do a habit tracker, I do a reading tracker, I do a period tracker, and I do like a when did I last tracker where it's like, when did I last go to the doctor? When did I last change my toothbrush? So I can maybe do a setup of those in the video somehow if I can figure out how to record it. I got it from Target, but they also have their own website, and I'll link both in case you want to see what else they have. And then I got these pens. Never used them before. They just looked cute. I hope they're not terrible. And then the last thing I got was this cuticle cream that everyone on Earth seems to have stopped selling. I couldn't find it anywhere. Everything was out of stock. I have a very lifelong problem of picking my fingers, and my cuticles are very dry and they peel, and then I pick and they bleed and my fingers are sore all of the time because I'm always fussing with them. This stuff, I had it over the summer and I didn't realize how much it was helping until I ran out of it. When I started picking my fingers again, I realized how long it had been since that was a problem. So I found this stuff very helpful, and it does last me a long time. Okay, I have to go do something for my sister really quickly, but I will hopefully be able to do a little bit of a planner setup. I think that would be fun, a little plan with me. I probably won't show every single thing because, you know, I do a lot of like goal setting, but a lot of the goals are kind of personal, so I don't want to get too... I'm not ready to overshare yet, but I'm sure we'll get there.
Vad är den gör det pipersläder? Miss Beep. Yes. You're so bad. Meow. Are you my present this year? you the present? So cute.
So I'm not gonna be able to get to the new plan with me in this video. I apologize, but time constraints, and I didn't want to do a rush job on the setup in case I screwed up and then I have to deal with that for the entire year. So I'm just gonna show you what I did this year because I'm pretty much just gonna do the same thing. This is my habit tracker. I don't use Duolingo anymore because they pissed me off. If anyone has any good alternatives for language learning, do let me know. My only regret is that's a habit I haven't been keeping up with anymore because I quit using that app. And it felt like a good thing to spend time on. Anyway, I also track creative tasks if I worked on writing, drawing, at this point videos, and then journaling, some kind of physical activity, which I am not very good at, and then brushing my teeth in the morning. I brush my teeth every night, no problem. For some reason, I just cannot get a handle on it in the morning. My mom was visiting at this time, so I really wasn't using my planner, but I started to use the app Finch, which is another bird app, but not language, it's mental health stuff, which has actually been really more useful than I thought it would be for me, and I've been really appreciating using that. And then I also started to add taking a break. But specifically, my idea of a break is at least half an hour. It doesn't have to be a full half hour, like it could be a 20-minute break and then a 10-minute break, or 3 10-minutes or 2 15, anything like that, but at least a half hour where I have music on, nothing playing, no music, no TV. I'm not on my phone. I turn my phone off. Well, I turn it on Do Not Disturb, and I just kind of sit there in silence to just kind of decompress and unplug for a second and let my mind process things. It's especially important when I'm feeling really overwhelmed and overstimulated to just kind of shut everything off for a minute and just even close my eyes, just to kind of chill out and then kind of see the natural path of my thoughts, and if I have a new idea to deal with something that's stressing me out, or it's just enough to kind of sit quietly and calm down for a little bit. And then I have a period tracker, and then I have this when did I last tracker, which I like the idea of, but I'm actually very inconsistent with using it. I've definitely done some of these things since then, but I like the idea of it. I need to try to get better at it. This was my reading tracker. I only read 20 books this year, but that's okay. I'm kind of a slow reader at this point in life. That's okay, because the slower I get through books, then the less often I have to spend money on new ones. I really want to get a library card in the new year. I used to have one, but then I moved and I just haven't been able to get back to the library to open a new account. I hate rating books. I'm just so arbitrary about it, and I get stressed out. I'm afraid of committing to a rating because I'm like, what if I'm wrong? What if my rating is incorrect and inaccurate to how I feel? I started using Fable as like a reading tracking app, and I don't even bother rating books in there. I think I want to get better at it in the new year. I think I want to try even writing reviews, and I don't even have to share the reviews. I was thinking of just for my own reference, just to kind of help myself process what I'm reading, because a lot of times I'm very guilty of just sort of consuming and then immediately moving on to the next thing, and I want to spend a little more time reflecting on the media I consume, not just books, but everything, and just kind of take my time. That's one of my resolutions, I guess, for the new year, is to be a little more mindful about the media I consume. And then I was doing quarterly reviews. These were kind of helpful, but there was also the kind of thing where like I forgot to look at it to kind of reference, for example, like what should I do next quarter to improve? I would never look back at that and actually try to do the things I thought of. I don't know if this system is something I'll scrap or if I'll try to just improve on it. And then that's pretty much it as far as the back of my notebook. I was gonna do a summary here. I'm not really sure how I'm gonna do that, what I'm gonna summarize, but yeah, that's pretty much how I use my planner. Oh, the sun is in my eyes. This is not the spot. Okay, we're over here now. This is a weird angle, but it's what I have. Those were my planner plans as far as the trackers. I always write my goals and resolutions and stuff in it too. I wasn't going to go over all of those, but I thought I would share the couple that are relevant to this channel. The first one, as far as writing, next year I really am going to commit to Hyacinth. I don't want to say I'm going to finish the first draft by the end of next year because I'm still so early in figuring the story out and doing all of the brainstorming that I don't know when I'm going to be able to start writing. If I'm not able to start drafting until like the middle of next November, it's probably not a fair goal to tell myself to finish the first draft by the end of December, especially because I said in the beginning of this video that around the holidays, I just want to focus on holiday stuff. But my goal is to hopefully start the first draft before the end of next year. I'm not even really ready to outline anything yet, so I don't know what my timeline is going to be, especially because I'm still figuring out what works for me. Transitioning into that, my other goal related to making content and making YouTube videos, I had a few philosophies behind starting a writing channel. The first one was the idea of accountability. You know, if I'm posting about it online, if I'm recording myself doing it and I'm trying to make content out of it, then how am I going to make writing content if I'm not writing? So if I want to do the content, I also have to be writing. The second thing was I love the idea of community. I've watched a lot of writers on YouTube and a lot of writing vlogs, and everyone just seems really nice, and I just kind of want to integrate into that and find some camaraderie and colleagues and peers and such to hopefully also help with not just accountability, but I don't know, just that connection. I think it's nice to feel we can kind of understand each other's plights and we can help each other. It's a nice thought. I think my goal for content next year is at least one video a month. And I know that that's not algorithmically friendly, but I can't really afford to care about that at this point. I want to be consistent with it. And if my standards for consistency are below an algorithm's demands, okay, like whatever. I'm doing what I need to do for me in a way that is sustainable. I want to commit to this. I have worried, you know, what if making writing content changes my relationship with writing, you know what I mean? But my arguments for that are, what if it changes it in a positive way? Such as I said, with the accountability, the community, if engaging with other people helps me stay on track. Over so many years, I have come back and forth with the idea of making content online, and I could never figure out what I wanted to do, what I was able to do, and anytime I tried, it was not something I could be consistent with. And I think maybe I just never found my right niche, or whatever. I know niche is like such a hot word for making content, but yeah, I never found my niche. But I think with writing, that's probably the best chance I have because I want to be a writer anyway. I'm writing no matter what, regardless of if people are watching me write. It feels like the more obvious thing and the most accessible thing to try to make content about, even though I am still kind of limited in how I can make that content. I know my videos aren't the highest quality. I'm literally recording on an old iPad Pro, the version that the Apple website itself refers to as vintage. I don't have a mic, and I can't afford any of these things right now, but even if I could, I'm still so early in figuring this out that I might as well learn on what I already have. Not only am I learning the writing process and figuring out how to be a better writer, I'm also learning how to make videos. Since I'm learning, even if I could get the fancy equipment, I don't know if it's a good investment right now, because what if I can't stick to this? I want to, because I know it's one of those things I'll keep coming back to until I can figure it out. I would rather try to start figuring out what I'm doing with what I currently have. I'm always going to advocate for doing the best you can with what you have. I think there's always a way to work within your limitations. Am I gonna create the best quality product? Probably not. Is it ideal? Probably not, but I'm learning and I'm letting myself be seen learning, which is such a scary thing for everybody to do, you know? Like, we have to do everything excellently and perfectly on the first go, and if I screw up or if I do something badly or if it's just kind of lackluster, why do we have to be embarrassed of that if we've never done it before? As far as also only doing a video a month, not only is that a low expectation that I think is a good place to start out with, it's also because, frankly, I don't have much of a life. I don't do enough interesting things often enough to frequently create engaging content. And that sounds really depressing, and I don't mean it to, but it's just kind of how my reality is right now. But maybe that'll change. Next year, there's a lot of things I have to change. There's a lot of things I'm going to try to do. There's a lot of things I need to improve on, and there are some things that I kind of hope happen or hope don't happen that are going to be out of my control, and whether they do or don't happen is going to affect everything else that I'm trying to do. So I think setting that low expectation of, for Hyacinth, and start the first draft, but not putting the intense pressure of finishing a first draft. For content, just doing a video a month if nothing exciting happens that often, and it doesn't have to be a long video either. I also want to learn more about how writers use social media like Instagram. I follow some people on Instagram, and I kind of just want to do a little more research and see what people are doing, what are they posting, how are they doing it. When talking about like projects specifically too, with Hyacinth, I know I've been really abstract when I talk about it. I've seen writing vlogs where the writers are super vague and they're like, this is the code name, here's the aesthetic and the vibes and the genre, but they don't ever really go into detail about the story. Their writing vlogs are more just about the writing process and their methodology and how they're writing versus the story that they're working on. And then I've seen writing vlogs where they're like, here's my cast and here are the plot beats and the backstory and the trauma. So I guess it's just whatever you're comfortable with. Or I guess I don't know if you have like a contract or if you're trying to get a contract, if you're not allowed to talk about your story to a certain extent. I really don't know much about the publishing process, and it's not time for me to learn about that. You know what I mean? I guess it wouldn't hurt to know for future reference, but that's so over there and I am over here. How is the knowledge of publishing going to help me if I don't write the damn book? Because I don't even know if Hyacinth, if I'm gonna want that to be like my debut novel. I just need to write it to prove to myself that I can write a book. I hope I like it enough to want to do something with it, but again, with the whole like not putting too much pressure on stuff, like the goal with Hyacinth is to write it. That's my goal right now. And once I do that, then I can figure out what's next. I am traveling for New Year's and I really hope to get a vlog out of that. I don't even know everything I'm going to be doing on this trip to know what I'm going to be willing and able to get footage of, but I'm going to do my best to get something just because I think it would be fun, because it is, like I said, I don't get out much, but also I don't want to become one of those people that's so worried about getting something on camera that I'm not present and I'm not respecting the people I'm with to just be with them, and I'm not actually making the memories and being in the moment, you know what I mean? So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how everything goes. 2026, I have a lot of reasons why this has to be a year of big change. I hope by this time next year, I'm in a way better place. I guess we'll see how much of that gets included in the writing vlogs as well. This channel is just me letting myself be seen, trying to figure things out. And if anybody wants to come along for that ride, I would appreciate the company. I guess that's the note I'm gonna leave you on, not just for this vlog, but for the end of 2025. This is only my second video, but if this is the only one you've watched, thanks for watching. If you've watched both videos so far, extra thanks for watching. I really hope I can make more. It's really fun to do. I don't want to aim for like success with it because I can't really control that, but I think keeping up with this would be a good habit for me, at least based off of the context I have in my life and in my head right now. Anything can change at any time, but I'm gonna try to stick with this. I want to hold myself accountable for this, for writing, as well as just general life changes next year. Whether or not you celebrate the holidays, I hope it's a safe and peaceful time. I know it can be a very hard time for a lot of people, and I hope you get through it just like you've gotten through everything else thus far. I hope that if you give and receive gifts, that you get what you wanted and the loved ones like what you got them. I hope you have good food. I hope traveling is safe. What's everyone else's New Year's goals, whether it be related to your projects or just life goals if you want to share? Maybe I can take inspiration from your goals and I can figure out what else to do with my life. Again, thanks so much for watching, and I will hopefully see you in the new year. Okay.